Hello, my dear students. We have already started the chapter The Rat Trap. Today we will continue with the same story. If you want to listen to the first video, you will get a link in the description box. Till now, we have learned that the peddler who had stolen the money from the crofter had taken the way towards forest in order to save him from the police and public. Now he was suffering from hunger and cold. Somehow he managed to get into the ironmaster's furnace, and after that, what happens? Let us find out. It was probably on account of all this noise that the blacksmith did not notice that a man had opened the gate and entered the forge until he stood close to the furnace. Surely it was nothing unusual for poor vagabonds without any better shelter for the night to be attracted to the forge by the glow of light which escaped through these sooty panes and to come in to warm themselves in front of the fire. Students, it was not unusual for the vagabond. Vagabonds, wherever they get shelter, they reside. So here also the same thing was happening, and here he was so much attracted by the forge because he was already wet outside because of the rain, and he was feeling cold because of the winter season. So here he went towards the fire and asked for the shelter. Here the workmen also did not deny because they were okay with it. The blacksmith glanced only casually and indifferently at the intruder. He looked the way people of his type usually did, with a long beard, dirty, ragged, and with a bunch of rat traps dangling on his chest. He asked permission to stay, and the master blacksmith nodded a haughty consent without honoring him with a single word. Students, the vagabond looked so poor by his gait, by his appearance, and he was so filthy, he was so dirty. And when he asked for the permission, he was allowed by the workmen inside the iron mill. The tramp did not say anything either. He had not come there to talk but only to warm himself and sleep. In those days, the Ramso iron mill was owned by a very prominent ironmaster whose greatest ambition was to ship out good iron to the market. He watched both night and day to see that the work was done as well as possible. And at this very moment, he came into the forge on one of his nightly rounds of inspection. Students, the ironmaster was a very meticulous man. Therefore, he made sure that the item that he is exporting is of well quality, and for that he did the inspection day and night. So, when this peddler resided in this mill, he had come and he went close to this vagabond. Naturally, the first thing he saw was the tall ragamuffin who had eased his way so close to the furnace that steam rose from his wet rags. The ironmaster did not follow the example of the blacksmiths, who had hardly deigned to look at the stranger. He walked close up to him, looked him over very carefully, tore off his slouch hat to get a better view of his face. "But of course, it is you, Nils Olof," he said. "How you do look." Students, the ironmaster was attracted by the ragamuffin who was sleeping out there near to the fire. And when the workmen showed him about the product, he did not pay attention to that. Rather, he was interested in the person who was sleeping there. He went closer to him and he wanted to see a close look of this man. When he went closer, he thought that he was Nils Olof. Remember, students, Nils Olof is a regimental friend of Ironmaster. He thought it was his friend. The man with the rat traps had never before seen the Ironmaster at Ramso and did not even know what his name was. But it occurred to him that if the fine gentleman thought he was an old acquaintance, he might perhaps throw him a couple of kroner. Therefore, He did not want to undeceive him all at once. Yes, God knows things have gone downhill with me, he said. You should not have resigned from the regiment, said the ironmaster. That was the mistake. If only I had still been in the service at the time, it never would have happened. Well, now, of course, you will come home with me. Students, the tramp was treated with great contempt. He was not welcomed anywhere. In fact, he was chased away from wherever he went. So much so that even if someone granted him a favor, he could not see anything better than scorn and indifference in the eyes of his benefactors. Now, here he was getting a little bit of favor, so he was doubtful. The rat trap seller thought that if he will remain quiet, then maybe because of his poor look, the ironmaster is going to give him some money. Therefore, he remained mum. And the ironmaster was thinking of taking him to his house. But the rat trap seller said that something wrong had gone to him, therefore he is in poor condition. He did not try to tell his real identity. It's all because of the greed for money from ironmaster. Let's move ahead, students. I hope till here it's clear to everyone. To go along up to the manor house and be received by the owner like an old regimental comrade. That, however, did not please the tramp. No, I could not think of it, he said, looking quite alarmed. He thought of the 30 kroner. To go up to the manor house would be like throwing himself voluntarily into the lion's den. He only wanted a chance to sleep here in the forge and then sneak away as inconspicuously as possible. Students, we should notice here that the tramp who was longing for hospitality, who was longing for food, cheer, and help from others, now was receiving everything from the ironmaster. But still, he was denying it. And the reason why he was doing this, it is all because of one mistake that he did couple of hours ago. It is about the stealing of 30 kroner. He thought that if he'll go to manor's house and if they get the information, then he will be in trouble. Therefore, even though he was being offered the cheer of life, he was not ready with it. So this is what happens to human beings. If they do something wrong, they become so much alarmed, so much chaotic in their mind. So we need to keep ourselves aloof from all these ill deeds. The ironmaster assumed that he felt embarrassed because of his miserable clothing. Please don't think that I have such a fine home that you cannot show yourself there. He said, Elizabeth is dead, as you may already have heard. My boys are abroad, and there is no one at home except my oldest daughter and myself. We were just saying that it was too bad we didn't have any company for Christmas. Now, come along with me and help us make the Christmas food disappear a little faster. Students, we have already discussed that the peddler was looking so filthy, and ironmaster had same observation. He thought that because he is so dirty, he is not wanting to come to Manor's house, his house. So he says that he does not have a very wonderful house. He says there is nobody at home. He is just wanting somebody to come and be the guest in this Christmas Eve. Now, students, we need to understand here that there are characters who are alone in the story. Be it peddler, be it the crofter, or ironmaster and his daughter. So loneliness is also another theme of the story. Let's move ahead. But the stranger said no and again no, and the ironmaster saw that he must give in. It looks as though Captain von Stahl preferred to stay with you tonight, stern Storm, he said to the master blacksmith and turned on his heel. But he laughed to himself as he went away, and the blacksmith, who knew him, understood very well that he had not said his last word. Students, here the peddler persistently, continuously said no. He had made up his mind that he will not go because he had stolen money. Now, the ironmaster thought that Captain von Stahl. Remember, students, this is the name of Niels Olof. This is same name. Okay, his full name is Niels Olof Captain von Stahl. Don't get confused here. The ironmaster thought that he should give in, but the blacksmith knew that ironmaster is not such kind of person who will give up easily. He knew that he is ready with his plan in his mind. And students, Stern Storm is the surname of person, and here it is the surname of blacksmith. It was not more than half an hour before they heard the sound of carriage wheels outside the forge, and a new guest came in. But this time it was not the ironmaster. He had sent his daughter, apparently hoping that she would have better powers of persuasion than he himself. She entered, followed by a valet carrying on his arm a big fur coat. She was not at all pretty, but seemed modest and quite shy. In the forge, everything was just as it had been earlier in the evening. The master blacksmith was and his apprentice still sat on their bench, and iron and coal still glowed in the furnace. The stranger had students, as we have discussed. The ironmaster did not give in. He went home and sent his daughter in order to persuade, in order to convince the peddler. And Edla, who was the daughter of ironmaster, was much more different than the ironmaster because she was keen observant, she was kind to everyone, her looks was so calm and composed that everybody could feel confidence on her. The ironmaster had sent the dress also for the peddler because he was thinking that it is because of poor clothing he denied to go. But here he was wrong in observing things because that was not the reason. Let us see whether Edla will be able to understand this or not. The stranger had stretched himself out on the floor and lay with a piece of pig iron under his head and his hat pulled down over his eyes. As soon as the young girl caught sight of him, she went up and lifted his hat. The man was evidently used to sleeping with one eye open. He jumped up abruptly and seemed to be quite frightened. "My name is Edla Willingmanson," said the young girl. "My father came home and said that you wanted to sleep here in the forge tonight, and then I asked permission to come and bring you home to us. I am so sorry, Captain, that you are having such a hard time." Students, when Edla entered the furnace, the vagabond was still there sleeping near the fire, and she introduced herself as Edla, son of the ironmaster, and it was father who had sent Edla to get him there in the manor's house. Let us see what happens further. She looked at him compassionately with her heavy eyes, and then she noticed that the man was afraid. Either he has stolen something or else he has escaped from jail, she thought, and added quickly, "You may be sure, Captain, that you will be allowed to leave us just as freely as you came. Only please stay with us over Christmas Eve." Students, Edla was a kind and compassionate girl, and she knew nothing about the peddler. But by the gestures of the tramp, she understood that he must have stolen money from somewhere or he has escaped from jail. So this shows that Edla was much more observant. She was keen observant than the father. The father thought because of dress he did not come, but Edla knew that he is a thief who has escaped from jail or he has stolen money. So Edla was able to understand the peddler's situation more appropriately than her father. She knows that the man is afraid because he will be trapped. So she assures him that he will be as free as he is right now after the Christmas celebration. Let's see whether the peddler will be ready or not. She said this in such a friendly manner that the rat trap peddler must have felt confidence in her. It would never have occurred to me that you would bother with me yourself, miss, he said. I will come at once. He accepted the fur coat which the valet handed him with a deep bow, threw it over his rags, and followed the young lady out to the carriage, without granting the astonished blacksmith so much as a glance. But while he was riding up to the manor house, he had evil forebodings. Why the devil did I take the fellow's money? He thought. Now I am sitting in the trap and will never get out of it. Students, the peddler was touched by the kind treatment of Edla. She was so compassionate, she was so empathetic that he could not stop himself than accepting this little girl. Now here we see the difference between the father and the daughter. Not convince him, but daughter did. Father was doing whatever he wanted just because he thought. Remember, it was his misunderstanding that he thought the rat trap seller was his friend. But here, Edla, even after knowing that he can never be a captain, she took this man to the manor's house or her house. Now here one point should be noted, that why Edla thought that she can never be the captain. See students, the post that we hold, it will require some personality, and this post of captain requires confidence, brevity, self confidence, which the tramp lacked. But even then, she accepted him as a guest for this celebration. Here, the tramp also regretted for stealing money. He thought that just because of those 30 krona, he had lost his peace of mind. He had gone to the forest, there he was so much in trouble. If he would not have done so, very confidently, he would have accepted the invitation of the girl. Here, even though he has accepted, he was fearful from the heart. Let's move ahead, students. The next day was Christmas Eve, and when the ironmaster came into the dining room for breakfast, he probably thought with satisfaction of his old regimental comrade whom he had run across so unexpected. First of all, we must see to it that he gets a little flesh on his bones, he said to his daughter, who was busy at the table. And then we must see that he gets something else to do than to run around the country selling rat traps. Students, here both father and daughter are in conversation, and father has thought something to better the life of the peddler. And remember, he is not doing it because the peddler is poor. He is doing it because he thinks that he is his friend who was working in the regiment with him before retirement. It's queer that things have gone downhill with him as badly as that, said the daughter. Last night I did not think there was anything about him to show that he had once been an educated man. You must have patience, my little girl, said the father. As soon as he gets clean and dressed up, you will see something different. Last night, he was naturally embarrassed. The tramp manners will fall away from him with the tramp clothes. Students, here we see the ironmaster has misconception about the personality, because he thinks that because of the filthy clothes, the tramp was behaving just like a tramp. But Edla understood that he did not have manners of an educated man. It is because he did not thank anyone when he was going towards the manor's house. In the furnace, he was given shelter by the blacksmith, but he did not say thank you while leaving the furnace. He should have thanked him. So it shows that he was so ungrateful person. Just as he said this, the door opened and the stranger entered. Yes, now he was truly clean and well dressed. The valet had bathed him, cut his hair, and shaved him. Moreover, he was dressed in a good looking suit of clothes which belonged to the ironmaster. He wore a white shirt and a starched collar and whole shoes. But although his guest was now so well groomed, the ironmaster did not seem pleased. He looked at him with puckered brow, and it was easy to understand that when he had seen the stranger fellow in the uncertain reflection of the furnace, he might have made a mistake, but that now, when he stood there in broad daylight, it was impossible to mistake him for an old acquaintance. Students, it was not the peddler who said that he was Nils Olof, the captain. It was the mistake of ironmaster for considering this poor fellow as his friend. And he had said persistently that he doesn't want to go to the manor's house. But this blame is put upon the poor peddler. Now he realized that earlier day he had mistaken him because of the dim light, but in the broad light he did not mistake, and he found that it was not his friend. He became so angry. Let's see what happens further. What does this mean? He thundered. The stranger made no attempt to dissimulate. He saw at once that the splendor had come to an end. It is not my fault, sir, he said. I never pretended to be anything but a poor trader, and I pleaded and begged you to be allowed to stay in the forge, but no harm has been done. At worst, I can put on my rags again and go away. Well, said the ironmaster, hesitating a little, it was not quite honest either. You must admit that, and I should not be surprised if the sheriff would like to have something to say in this matter. Students, the ironmaster had become so angry here to know that the peddler is not his regimental friend. Now, the peddler also understood that the wonderful time has come to an end. He said that it was not he who pretended to be somebody else. It was the ironmaster who considered him to be his friend. But he says that nothing worst has happened. He can go back to his previous state. He can wear his clothes and he can go away from that place. But the ironmaster was so angry, he said that he is going to call police for this because it was so dishonest. Now the peddler becomes so angry, and what he says, let us find out. The tramp took a step forward and struck the table with his fist. Now I am going to tell you, ironmaster, how things are, he said. This whole world is nothing but a big rat trap. All the good things that are offered to you are nothing but cheese rinds and bits of pork, set out to drag a poor fellow into trouble. And if the sheriff comes now and locks me up for this, then you, Mr. Ironmaster, you must remember that a day may come when you yourself may want to get a piece of pork, and then you will get caught in the trap. Students, here the peddler also becomes so much angry at the ironmaster because this is second time he was in trouble. At first, he was trapped in forest because of those 30 kroners, and because of another thing he is trapped here. He was in trouble right now in front of ironmaster, and from police only he was escaping in the forest and here as well. Now he says that whatever things that attracts us is nothing else than the bait. So now he is trapped by the bait. Someday even ironmaster would be in trouble, and because of this preaching, ironmaster started laughing because the preacher was a culprit according to him. The ironmaster began to laugh. That was not so badly said, my good fellow. Perhaps We should let the sheriff alone on Christmas Eve. But now get out of here as fast as you can. But just as the man was opening the door, the daughter said, I think he ought to stay here with us today. I don't want him to go. And with that, she went and closed the door. What is the world are you doing? Said the father. The daughter stood there quite embarrassed and hardly knew what to answer. That morning she had felt so happy when she thought how homelike and Christmassy she was going to make things for the poor, hungry wretch. She could not get away from the idea all that once, and that was why she was interceded for the vagabond. Students, here we find Edla was so kind and generous. And here in the morning, she was so happy to have somebody with her. She wanted to do so many things for this peddler because by his condition, she knew that he is not welcomed by the world, and she had planned something for him. So here when her father wanted to send him out, she became so unhappy. She could not say anything to the father, but she made sure that she will convince him. I'm thinking of this stranger here, said the young girl. He walks and walks the whole year long, and there is probably not a single place in the whole world where he is welcome and can feel at home. Wherever he turns, he is chased away. Always he is afraid of being arrested and cross-examined. I should like to have him enjoy a day of peace with us here, just one in the whole year. The ironmaster mumbled something in his beard. He could not bring himself to oppose her. It was all a mistake, of course, she continued, but anyway, I don't think we ought to chase away a human being whom we have asked to come here and to whom we have promised Christmas cheer. Students, Edla was so kind, so empathetic, so generous towards others, and she felt for peddler. She wanted to keep him here because they have given words to him. They have promised to him that he will be given Christmas cheer. So she wanted to keep her promise, and we know that right from the beginning she understood that he can never be a friend of her father. You do preach worse than a parson, said the ironmaster. I only hope you won't have to regret this. The young girl took the stranger by the hand and led him up to the table. Now sit down and eat, she said, for she could see that her father had given in. The man with the rat trap said not a word. He only sat down and helped himself to the food. Time after time, students, here we see Edla won the conversation to her father, and she started providing Christmas cheer to this guest. And the guest was wondering why this unknown little girl was so much caring to him. Let's move ahead. Time after he looked at the young girl who had interceded for him. Why had she done it? What could the crazy idea be? Students, here the peddler was wondering. It is because till now there was nobody in entire world who could understand his pain. Forget about understanding, he used to be chased away by the people. And here there is a lady, there is a girl who is supporting him, going against her own father. After that, Christmas Eve at Ramsau passed just as it always had. The stranger did not cause any trouble because he did nothing but sleep. The whole forenoon he lay on the sofa in one of the guest rooms and slept at one stretch. At noon, they woke him up so that they could have his share of good Christmas fare. But after that, he slept again. It seemed as though for many years he had not been able to sleep as quietly and safely as here at Ramsau. Students, it was correct that the peddler was not safe and had warm sleep any day. It was because he did not have his own house. So, how can he be at peace and safe? In the evening, when the Christmas tree was lighted, they woke him up again and he stood for a little while in the drawing room, blinking as though the candlelight hurt him. But after that, he disappeared again. 2 hours later, he was aroused once more. He then had to go down into the dining room and eat the Christmas fish and porridge. Students, throughout the day, he did not do anything significant. He ate, he slept, he ate, he slept. So, we can make out that something was going in his mind. He was planning to do something because psychology says that the person who is sleeping a lot, they are suffering from something. And here, the peddler was suffering from guilt. Okay, so let us see what is the plan that is going inside his mind. Let's move ahead, students. As soon as they got up from the table, he went round to each one present and said thank you and good night. But when he came to the young girl, she gave him to understand that it was her father's intention that the suit which he wore was to be a Christmas present. He did not have to return it, and if he wanted to spend next Christmas Eve in the place where he could rest in peace and be sure that no evil would befall him, he would be welcomed back again. Students, do you see any change in the peddler? Do you remember when he was following Edla to the manor's house, he did not thank the blacksmith? Now here he is thanking each and everyone who were present in the Christmas Eve. So this is the first change that we see in the peddler, which is positive, of course. Now after the occasion, Edla says that the suit which he was wearing can be kept by him because it was a gift from her father. Next year also, Edla said that he can come and he can enjoy Christmas Eve. There won't be any problem, she assured that. The man with the rat traps did not answer anything to this. He only stared at the young girl in boundless amazement. The next morning, the ironmaster and his daughter got up in good season to go to the early Christmas service. Their guest was still asleep and they did not disturb him. When at about 10 o'clock they drove back from the church, the young girl sat and hung her head even more dejectedly than usual. At church she learned that one of the old crofters of the iron works had been robbed by a man who went round selling rat traps. "Yes, that was a fine fellow you let into the house," said her father. "I only wonder how many silver spoons are left in the cupboards by this time." The wagon had hardly stopped at the front steps when the ironmaster asked the valet whether the stranger was still there. He added that he had heard at church that the man was a thief. The valet answered that the fellow had gone and had not taken anything with him at all. On the contrary, he had left behind a little package which Miss Willingmanson was to be kind enough to accept as a Christmas present. The young girl opened the package, which was so badly done up that the content came into view at once. She gave a little cry of joy. She found a small rat trap, and in it lay 3 wrinkled 10-kroner notes. But that was not all. In the rat trap lay also a letter written in large, jagged characters. Students, the ironmaster, after knowing that he was a thief, became so much concerned about the material things, that is, his silver spoons and other things. But Edla was so sad because she was hurt, because she never thought that he can steal money. He just had doubt, but she never thought that he will do it. Therefore, she was very much dejected. Her students, Ironmaster was proved to be wrong. He is very fickle-minded person and he cannot take decision. And another very important point that we notice out here is that he was very much materialistic person. If somebody is related to him, then only he is going to help. Otherwise, he does not matter to him at all. Students, the peddler had left a gift for the daughter and a letter as well. It shows that the peddler regretted a lot. He was guilty of the thing that he did. Let's see what he has written in the letter. Honored and noble Miss, since you have been so nice to me all day long, as if I was a captain, I want to be nice to you. In return, as if I was a real captain, for I do not want you to be embarrassed at this Christmas season by a thief, but you can give back the money to the old man on the roadside who has the money pouch hanging on the window frame as a bait for poor wanderers. The rat trap is a Christmas present from a rat who would have been caught in this world's rat trap if he had not been raised to captain, because in that way he got power to clear himself. Written with friendship and high regard, Captain von Stahl. Students, the peddler was so much touched by the good treatment, sympathy of Edla. The girl, in spite of knowing his real identity, treated him like a captain. It was now his turn to show Edla that the guest she had honored was an honorable one and was worthy of being a captain and not merely a petty thief. The latent goodness of his heart was awakened, and he actually behaved in a dignified manner and cleared himself. So he signed himself as Captain von Stahl because had he not been elevated to the rank of a captain, he would not have escaped the world's rat trap. Moreover, through this gesture, the author wants to convey to the reader that such small acts of kindness have a lasting impact on individuals. So, the signatures also have a stamp of authority, indirectly in changing the soul. Through this, we understand, students, that anybody, even if it is a criminal, they can be changed with our goodness, with our sympathy, by listening to them, by clearing the ill deeds that they have committed. So, by this we completed our lesson. If you have any questions, you can drop message in the comment section. Thank you, students.